Tonight, striking medical laboratory scientists in danger of mass dismissals and suspension of salaries as Labour Commission declares they should be sanctioned for embarking on an illegal strike, risking the lives of patients across the country.
There should be sanctions for that. They could lose their salary, they could have their appointments terminated.
There is a case with Labour Commission as we speak now, just around the same thing, and nothing has been done. So it then becomes like a routine.
As the standoff ensues between the lab scientists and the NLC, we tell you the story of how frail and dying patients have been left stranded in public health facilities across the country.
It's a very difficult situation because some people's conditions are very critical.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Gassim Cement, the nation builder, as well as Vodafone. They embarked on a nationwide strike today that has left thousands of frail and dying patients stranded at public health facilities across the country. But tonight, the striking laboratory scientists are now in danger of mass termination of appointments and a possible withdrawal of their salaries. The National Labour Commission has declared their strike illegal and says they should face sanctions as it orders the striking lab scientists to return to work. Ofusu Asamoah is the executive secretary of the NLC.
There should be sanctions for that. They could lose their salary or any thing due them, remuneration due them within the period for which they are not working. They could have their appointments terminated without notice. They could be set charged for any loss or damages arising from or occurring as a result of their strike, and other sanctions are available. Anyway, they gave us the assurance we were going to abide by the law, that is, go back to work. Unfortunately, it's rather escalated, so we may be heading to court anytime soon.
You mean the NLC? What would you be seeking when you go to court?
We'll be seeking to enforce our directive that they go back to work while the commission gets the matter.
How soon would this happen?
Well, as soon as we are preparing, so in the next 24 hours, I think we should be there.
Well, the nationwide strike is beginning to bite tonight, and especially in areas of the country where there are no alternatives, or the alternatives, as in private laboratories, are simply in short supply. In an area like the Upper West Regional Capital, it has hit pretty hard. Patients there are finding it very difficult to find alternatives, and even when they do, they simply cannot afford. Listen to my colleague, Rafiq Salam.
Many of the patients who came to the hospital and were directed to come to the lab came with their samples, but unfortunately, they were turned away. With a 13-month-old baby strapped at her back, 30-year-old mother of two, Susolo Safura, hails from Bobale in the Sisala East municipality and came to the Wa Municipal Hospital for treatment. She was then directed by a medical doctor to go to the hospital's laboratory for tests, which she did, but was turned away as a result of the strike. Where are you going now?
I'm going to the house.
You're going to the house. Are you not going to see the lab test at any other facility?
Why they said that I know where I'm at, they said that.
But what about practice? They should be working.
I don't have money.
Another who bears the brand of the indefinite strike is 32-year-old Abdullahi Tijani, whose wife delivered through cesarean section. The wife felt unwell after the cesarean operation, and they gave him their blood samples to come to the laboratory for testing. Manager of the Wa Municipal Hospital Laboratory, Teresa Salifu, explained why the clients have been turned away.
We are not happy because the clients, some of them are relatives, and our motto is service to humanity. We would love to serve, but we would not love to serve under any oppression.
And I'll take you shortly to other parts of the country, in areas, as I've indicated, where private laboratories are simply in short supply or simply cannot find them. My correspondents have been speaking to these patients who've been left stranded, that very, very shortly. But as you now know, the Labour Commission has declared the strike illegal and ordered the striking lab scientists back to work. So will they call off the strike? Abudu Rahamani is the national president of the Ghana Medical Laboratory Scientists. He joins us live right now. Hello, Abu. Thank you for your time here on Top Story. Also joining us is the executive secretary of the National Labour Commission, Mr. Ofusu Asamoah. Mr. Asamoah, thank you for your time, sir. Hello, Mr. Asamoah. Hello, sir. Okay, we seem to have a challenge with the line. Let me see if we can have Mr. Rahamani. Mr. Rahamani, did I have you on the line?
Yes, I'm online.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time. Let me ask you, the Labour Commission says your strike is illegal and you should return to work immediately. Will you?
We've not received any directive. We've not received any documentation. We are only hearing it on air. And we are professionals. We carry out a lot of processes. And so we follow procedures and processes. And so once you start with step 1, we'll know where step 2 has to go. And so we are yet to get to step 1.
But you are an essential service. Even without the NLC writing to you formally, it is in law that you cannot embark on a strike such as this.
No, that is true. That is true. And it is not something that we just wish we will go on strike. It is more to do with something that concerns our future, okay? And anything that concerns your future, the present matters. And so it's important that we look at our future, and if things are in that will disrupt our ability to provide a better and quality service to our clients, now we have to curtail it now.
And so you're saying that you're prepared to break the law in achieving that end?
Oh, actually, we are not breaking the law.
But you acknowledge just right now that it is written in law that it's illegal for you as an essential service to embark on this strike.
Well, it is only legal when you have not gone through the right process. You've not informed the right authorities. You've not done what is expected of you. We've done all that we need to do. The authorities are aware. Even the Labour Commission itself, a similar case, if not the same case, is with them for the past 2 years, or let's say 3 years. So if a case is already there, and the same case comes up again, and the one who is supposed to adjudicate says that it's illegal, then there is no law in this particular case, because the case is with you. You sat over it. You sat, and you've refused, or you've decided not to work on it, and it has erupted again. It is no more an illegality. It is just a question of the individuals involved realizing that you are not taking them serious, so they have to act.
A short while ago, I spoke to the executive secretary of the NLC on these issues that you have raised. In fact, my colleague Fred Smith did. I want you to listen to him address some of the issues that you have raised and what he believes should happen now. And stay with me on this. Kindly listen to him briefly.
The directive in the letter is that they should immediately halt the strike and appear before the commission on Wednesday for the commission to hear them, as long as alongside the other parties, the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and the Comparative Teaching Officer.
Why have you issued this directive?
Because they have not complied with the law in terms of engaging in any strike. They must first inform the commission that the give us notice if they intend to go on a strike, that they are in negotiation with management or whoever is on the other side. Negotiations have broken down. They intend to go on strike, and until after 7 days of that notice, you cannot go on strike. Anyway, they belong to the essential services. So in any case, they are not supposed to go on strike at all. If there is anything, their first point of call is the Labour Commission. If the negotiation fails, a compulsory arbitration panel will be constituted to hear and determine the matter in a matter of days. So there is no way they can be on strike at the time.
It means that this strike is illegal.
Yes, illegal. The law frowns on it.
I see, but you've scheduled a meeting to try and resolve it, but since they've embarked on an illegal strike, will there be sanctions for that?
There should be sanctions for that, but the sanctions will be imposed by their employers. They could lose their salary or any thing due them, remuneration due them within the period for which they are not working. They could have their appointments terminated without notice. They could be set charged for any loss or damages arising from or occurring as a result of their strike, and other sanctions are available. Anyway, they gave us the assurance they were going to abide by the law, that is, go back to work. Unfortunately, it's rather escalated, so we may be heading to court anytime soon.
You mean the NLC? What would you be seeking when you go to court?
We'll be seeking to enforce our directive that they go back to work while the commission gets the matter.
How soon would this happen?
Well, as soon as we are preparing, so in the next 24 hours, I think we should be there.
So that is the executive secretary of the NLC. Mr. Rahamani, he says there, you mentioned earlier that a case is before the NLC. He says you did not notify them before you went on a strike.
Well, like I said earlier on, this strike is from the base. The regions have called on a party. They have called a strike action. Okay, and so ours is to link up with the our executives at the regional level. Be that it may, I really, as a president of the association, I don't have any issue at all. What the Labour Commission can trust that I can do is simple. They should give me about 16 days, 1 day for each region. I'll have to go to each region, meet each members, talk to them. If they agree, well, we'll get a feedback.
But that's not how the law works. That's not what the law says. The law says you're an essential service. You can go. The law says inform the NLC. You have not. You can't change the rules, can you?
Evans, as we speak now, like I said, I've not had any documentation. But you and I, we are here, and this issue erupted about 2-3 weeks ago. Is the Labour Commission saying that for the past 3 weeks, they are not aware of what is happening? And are they saying that they did not hear our request calling on the ministry to come in and solve the problem for us? They did not hear our single demand of asking 2 very brilliant officers to be moved to internal directorate, the internal medicine directorate. They are aware. Okay, so if they are aware, and for all this while, they've sat and they've watched us, thinking that probably we may not be able to do anything. And at this last hour, when the thing has erupted, they are coming to tell us that we have not notified them. Then I don't know, because I have not received any documents. But he said they have sent some documents. So the same thing, I also expect that they listen to your news channel. This issue has been there for all this while, and they would have been aware of it.
Stay with
and
me.
They know we have called on the ministry. And I know the ministry has contacted them. So I think at that level, at that high level, they could have asked the ministry that just listen to them and so, because this doesn't need to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, stay with me, Mr. Rahamani, because the executive secretary of the National Labour Commission, Mr. Fuso Somar, joins me now. Mr. Somar, thank you for your time here on Top Story. Hello, Mr. Somar.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
Great. So why haven't you formally served these orders of yours on the lab scientists?
We have served it on them. I keep hearing they are saying they haven't received it. But they should contact the office. Anyway, when it comes to, providers of essential services, whether there is an order from the National Labour Commission or not, they are precluded from staging any form of strike. If there is a breakdown in negotiations between any of them, their management or their employers, they are bound by, for one of the parties, that is any of the parties or all of them, to apply to the National Labour Commission for a settlement through compulsory arbitration. So whether they have received our letter or not by hand, even if we are not even writing to them, as essential service providers, they cannot go on strike. Now, and for those who have to go on strike, if need be, they have to give the National Labour Commission 7 days notice. So, and they, in this case, did not give notice of this strike, did not serve as a notice of breakdown in negotiation, and neither did they serve as a notice of intention to go on strike. So, in both cases, they fall flat in the face of the law.
I mean, Mr. Samoa, are you saying that you haven't, assuming they haven't done so, and he admits he haven't, that you haven't heard that this issue has been boiling and building or up until this national strike?
2 letters have been dispatched to them, one on Monday and the second yesterday on Wednesday. The first one was we heard of the strike on Thursday last week, but that is when the confirmation and where the management and the ministry was engaging them so that they could settle it. So when they could not settle, we waited, but we thought they could settle it on Friday. So as of Monday, the news that filtered in was that they have not been able to settle. Immediately, the Labour Commission, we sent notice to them. Right. We wrote to them. And on Tuesday, the Ministry of Health also wrote to us, as since negotiations broke down, inviting us to intervene. And that one, too, on Wednesday, which was yesterday, we dispatched another letter, reference the letter that was written to us, calling for our intervention. So if they are saying that in any of the 2 cases or letters that has been dispatched, they have not received it, I am serving notice to them. I have done it again. It's all over the media everywhere. You see, notice does not mean holding the paper. One law, when you take the act, you fall flat in the 2 as essential service provider. And even if you consider yourself as a non-essential service provider, you did not give notice to the commission. In the third district, we have given a directive. It's been on air, on the social media, everywhere, in the print media. And you are still saying that I have not received it when you actually have received it. Even when it comes to postage, as soon as the letters are dispatched by post, registered post, the presumption is that you have received it.
Well, he says you need to give him 16 days to travel to every region to speak to their members in the regions.
Are they to travel to each? Don't they call themselves on phones when they are calling their national meeting, Congress? Does he travel the whole region, informing the members, its regional executives, that we are going to hold a meeting in Accra? If he is serious about it, is it not for him to say tomorrow we are meeting and everybody in any part of the region can travel to Accra or wherever you set as venue for the meeting? Does he have to travel to Sekondi today, Kumasi tomorrow? Does he know the risk going around? It is not only time consuming. Does he know the number of people who die on the road each day through road accidents? Why would he want to waste his time and risk his life? Please, let's be serious. This is a national issue we are dealing with. We are dealing with people's life. How can you come on radio and say, give me 15 days, I'll travel to Bolga, I'll travel to Wa, and meet my executive?
You're not suggesting that the president of the association is not being serious?
It's not what?
You are not suggesting he's not being serious, because he is.
No. No, it is not for me to say whether he's serious.
No, because you said let's be serious. But what he's saying is actually being serious.
Ask yourself, you as an interviewer, that Joy FM, is it Joy FM I'm speaking to?
Yes, please.
You have affiliate stations all over, and you want to see their end. The head of multimedia will have to travel to every region. When by a simple phone call you can, send your information across or seek their consent or otherwise.
Mr. Rahamani, it's obvious from what I'm hearing from Mr. Samoa that you haven't fulfilled you haven't exhausted the laid down procedure for addressing your grievance before you call this strike.
Evans, like I indicated, let me touch on probably my boss may not know the numbers we are dealing. We are dealing with over 5,000 members. Okay? And if someone is at Fumbisi or Garutimpani, certainly you don't expect the Garutimpani person to travel all the way from Garu to Accra or you don't expect that at this point in time we should gather about 5,000 of our members in Accra.
Mr. Ramani, that is why every region has its own leadership. You speak to the leadership.
Exactly my point. So
you don't need to physically travel there.
The region will have to call its members, and I, as the president, will have to be there to convince them why they should call off the strike.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you.
I have to travel through the thing. It means I have taken it more serious.
Okay, you have the medium of radio tonight to speak to your members across the country. Are you, the president, committed in asking your members across the country to return to their posts in the hospitals while you negotiate with NLC and government?
Evans, we've asked for one thing. We are ever ready. If the next minute the NLC tells our ministry to let the two officers move to their original position,
that is a subject.
I can assure you it can be done today.
No, but that is a subject of negotiations, and that is why the NLC is intervening in this.
No, Evans, how can this be a subject of negotiation? Evans, no, how can it be? You are in room 1, you have been moved to room 2, and the people in room 2 says that, no, excuse us. Is this a negotiation?
No, but then again, Mr. Ramani, what you just cited is a basis for this strike.
Exactly.
You have not managed to get government in your one-on-one conversation and CAF to agree. That is why you need a third party like the NLC to stand and come in and negotiate for you and with you. And I'm asking you tonight that are you willing to call off the strike? You say you want to travel, you can travel. And I'm saying that you have the power of radio right now. Are you willing when you meet speaking to your members to say, go back, let me go and sit with the NLC to mediate so we resolve this?
You see, Evans, the Ghana has a statement which says that okay, literally meaning that if you've been bitten by a snake before, if you see a worm, you run away. We have been there before.
As in, you've sat with the NLC and government before this?
We have gone through the same process before.
With the NLC?
That's why I said, in the end, what has happened? We are here back again. They gave us instruction, call off your strike, call off your members. Let us come to a sitting table. We came to a round table. You come 1, 2. The next time, the ministry will not come. They will postpone. You go. The ministry will not come. You keep on going and going and going, and you'll be tired yourself. That has been the routine.
Mr. Ramani,
what is the guarantee that if I should call off my members today, this issue will be sorted out within the next week or within the next 3 days? That's why I said that if the ministry wants to solve this issue, it doesn't lie with the National Labour Commission. Look, we are open to negotiation. I've said this countless times. This issue doesn't lie with the National Labour Commission. It lies with the Ministry of Health, the Medical and Dental, the college, and then the West Africa Postgraduate College of Medical Laboratory Scientists, and then ourselves.
Yeah, Mr. Ramani, let me ask you.
And solve this issue out.
Let me ask you this. The NLC has said to us tonight that if you don't back down as they've directed, you should be sanctioned, and that you risk, 1, losing your salaries, and 2, your appointments being terminated across the country, mass terminations.
Evans, when you are fighting for a good cause, you fear nothing. We can sacrifice today because we are thinking of our future. Okay, we can sacrifice today because the future is what we are looking at to. We don't want to be bellyful today, then the future will suffer. What we are asking for is very serious, and the National Labour Commission and Ministry of Health must take us serious.
So you're saying you're saying on behalf of your members who are listening to you tonight, the thousands of your members, that you are okay if all of them are sacked and they lose their salaries as a price to pay for this action you're taking?
Well, if that is what the government thinks is right, well, we are there.
When you say you are there, what do you mean?
No, we are watching. Because we are here, we have laid our issue before government, before the ministry. So if our employer, who is the ministry, knows that this issue has been with them for the past 3-4 years, countless occasions, we have had meeting upon meeting. Sometimes we go, we are ignored. Sometimes we go, they don't mind. we have to plead with people. We have to do a whole lot of things as if we don't deserve it. We are being favored.
Finally,
Finally,
Mr. Ramani, will you or will you not call off your strike tomorrow as you wait for the negotiations? Is it a yes or no?
Evans, when we get the necessary documents, or the ministry meets our basic requirements, we are ready to call off the action.
Okay. Mr. Samoa, has the NLC managed to file its court processes yet?
Managed to do what?
File your court processes yet?
Don't worry. By the close of day tomorrow, and you get the answer.
In the meantime, you just had him there. It doesn't appear that...
I had him. Yeah. But I'm surprised. Talking about these two people, that is the matter in contention. And that is what the commission, their good selves, the ministry, Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, and the Ghana Health Service are all going to sit before the commission for us to decide on. So why are you saying that the very issue in contention that they should be removed? They should be removed before you come. If they are removed, then what is the essence of attending upon the commission? After all, the issue has been solved already.
Yeah. Mr. Sama, thank you very much for joining us with this. This standoff continues, no end in sight. The NSC says it's heading to court to get the court to order them to return. We'll see how this pans out. But at the heart of this are the patients, frail and dying across the country, even here in Accra, the country's largest referral facility. With all the many private alternatives, there's still a struggle to get labs done in the wake of the strike.
This is very disturbing. If someone is sick, she must be attended to. And if you say you are not working, are you saying they should go home and die? So we are pleading. They should attend to us because health issues are very important.
It's a very difficult situation because some people's condition are very critical and they need to be attended to. Some of us, maybe I can do well to go across the street for my test, but then others are very critical and they need to. So I think if the authority can come in and then talk to them to do, save those people, I think it will be very good. It's a bit worrying, yeah, because if you can see people are very sick and they need this test to move on and nothing is working. We've not been told about any strike too.
Going to other private labs will disturb us because when the tests are conducted here, it is cheaper than in the private laboratories.